Hello, this is Ed Burke with PlaceForTraders.com for Thursday, April 16th. Starting off in the June S&P, in my last video, I talked about the pivot level of 845 for Wednesday. If we're above 845, we're looking at a bullish market. Below 845, a bearish market. I had the first line of support down at 832.5, the second line of support down at 823.75 for Wednesday. As we could see here, I have the pivot level of 845 here, and the black line you can see down here. This red line is the first line of support. We could see this red arrow that I drew. These are 15-minute bars. This was the opening bar on 15-minute bars on Wednesday. But we could see overnight that this first level of support, that 832.5, served as a nice support level. Earlier on, the market had gone down to a low of 831.5. It had just gone through that first line of support, but you could see that a few times right on the open we traded right near that first line of support. Then we had a little bounce back in the market, of course. When the market was rallying up here, I did send out messages to people that I was looking at the pivot level as being a resistance. The market actually, I said short the market around 845. Actually, this high right here was 843.5. It didn't quite reach that pivot point, obviously, and then we had to sell off. And then we had this big move up. This was right in the closing range on Wednesday. The market, once again, this red arrow that I'm pointing to was the closing bar in the 15-minute, but you could see right before the close, the last half hour before the close, the market then rallied back, above the pivot and closed stronger. The market settled at 848.5. It was up 8.25. The high in the day was 850.5. Low, like I said, was 831.5. This is the combined session, settling at 848.5. That first line of resistance I had was up at 854, so the high of the day was about 3.5 points off that first line of resistance. But like I said, all this big move was all going into the close anyways. For Thursday session, I'm looking at the pivot level of 844. I haven't written out here. Pivot level 844. First line of resistance up at 856.25. Resistance 2 at 863.25. For support, the first line of support 837. That second line of support down at 824.75. Now, also, I have the weekly numbers. The weekly pivot is at 837. It's actually converging with that first line of daily support. So the weekly pivot is 837. The weekly first line of resistance I have at 871.25. Just above our second line of daily resistance. And for first line of support on a weekly time frame, 818.5, just below our second line of daily support. So that weekly support is 818.5. Some numbers that are coming out, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, you have building permits coming out. The expectation is for 545,000. Housing starts also comes out at 8:30. The expectation is for 560,000 units. And initial jobless claims, the expectation is for 645,000. That's all I have for this evening. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't gone to my website as of yet, it's placefortraders.com. Go on and sign up for the free alerts. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and good trading.